is going to sit on her, but the only thing she understands is, see? That didn't happen to me. That didn't happen to me.
Ooh, ow.
That didn't happen.
All right.
That's what just happened. Ow.
We're ancient Egyptian religions here at Adam's house. So this is actually just part of basic, what do you call this, cat worship?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I usually wait till someone says hi in the chat before I do the official welcome. Christopher Harrop has said hi in the chat. We're here. We're special. We're doing brunch time AMA. It's not lunch. It's brunch. We all have mimosas. We got.
Hold on. I ran out.
Hodo, but Kathy Lee's got you hold down. Wait, which one's which?
There is no Kathy Lee no more. It's Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah.
What happened to Kathy Lee?
What with the times, bro?
Is she gone the way of Gelman?
Yes.
Is Gelman still around?
And Matt Lauer's gone as well.
Oh, we knew that. Oh, come on, we set so much time up for the cat to stay.
Let's stay.
So there's literally 4 of us here, right? So that's exciting.
Well, Nate Myers is here. Richie's here. Richie, I love you. Thanks for that today. That favor you did, I appreciate it. Edmund is here. Donald Huggy is here. Huggy, what's up, buddy? So we're at the Brunch Time AMA. I got Aaron and Adam. They are down in Mississippi hanging out. Hi, guys.
The sorting cat.
Lily the sorting cat is here.
Lily the sorting cat is here.
In Adam's torn flesh, in the flesh.
I mean, I'm pleased as punch you guys are here today. I don't know how pleased punch is, but Adam, are you okay? It doesn't look good. Let's see it.
He likes to attack.
Can I see it up close? Can I see that? Oh.
Very aggressive. And she's gone. Well.
Yeah. Well,
some cats turn mean.
Well, that was Lunchtime AMA, guys. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. It was a good show. No.
Can we do this?
Yeah. Lily's out.
Lily's out.
Trying to make room for her, but she is out.
This feels a little bit like a fireside chat, the sort president used to do during World War II.
You can still listen to those. They've got them recorded.
Yes.
Yeah, you can listen to them, and they're quite boring.
You can also listen to The Shadow and the Hindenburg go down. I have a whole CD collection.
Things while I try to sleep. Roosevelt,
Eleanor, or Franklin?
Chat. Telling the world it will be okay. We will be okay.
Did you see that movie, The King's Speech?
Yes.
Okay. Have you actually listened to the actual speech?
Less good, right?
Less exciting, that's for sure.
Now, to be fair, giving speeches during Churchill's time was, tough. You just get housed.
Yeah, you had to be really, really good public speaker to beat Churchill.
Like, Churchill was good a lot. I mean, Churchill was bad at a lot of stuff, but giving speeches at that time was not one of the things he was bad at.
He was good at that, yeah.
Probably like best since recorded stuff.
I haven't seen the Gary Oldman one yet. I've seen the Albert Finney and I've seen the Lithgow.
No contest.
Oldman, really? Oldman takes it?
Country mile.
Right on.
Nails it.
Because like watching Churchill like paint at home and grumble about, and various other things you get in those other movies. Like The Darkest Hour or The Finest Hour. I mean, that's like really like literally the most exciting 3 months of Churchill's career. And it was literally the craziest, best career of all time.
And if you want, Ethan, you should watch the sister movie to that, which is Dunkirk.
I have seen Dunkirk. Dunkirk depressed me. I did not see 1917 yet.
Well, that whole era was quite depressing, I think.
Yeah.
1917, way better than Dunkirk. I mean, Dunkirk to me was a little too they're both meant to be like you're in it, right?
Yeah.
But watching Dunkirk was as close to being the character in A Clockwork Orange as I've ever seen.
What's the deal with
Dunkirk?
Why do they always put Tom Hardy in masks?
Honestly, I just think he's like the best.
He's really good.
I think he's like the Brando of our time.
They always make him wear a mask.
Because
And don't forget Nemesis, Star Trek Nemesis.
he doesn't get a lot of credit for Nemesis, and Nemesis doesn't get a lot of credit,
And it shouldn't. Not very good. Hey guys, speaking of movies, I love movies. We're talking about movies. I
Mhm.
I think it'd be a good time now to discuss all the movies. The Easter to summer theatrical release is we've all seen this year. So that's my first part of the show. So what do you guys think of all the movies that came out from like March to now before we get ready for this big summer movie season? What'd you guys go see?
I mean, if that's the end of the bit,
That's the end of the bit. That's the end of the bit.
I did pay to watch The Hunt on demand because it was as close as I could do to like carrying forth with a stiff upper lip when I couldn't leave the house.
That was a fun movie.
Did you see who wrote and directed The Hunt?
That's why I watched The Hunt, is because it was your friend Damon Lindelof. You have Damon Lindelof action figures in your home.
I do, but also it was the director of the guy who directed those Leftovers episodes I love so much, like International Assassin. I have his poster on my wall as well.
Guy, what was his name?
Craig Zobel.
I enjoyed The Hunt. I thought it was
good.
interesting that, they say if you want to sell stuff, controversy is a way to get people's attention.
They couldn't have planned it any better.
But when I watched it, I thought, oh, this isn't controversial. Come on.
It wasn't. It was a mountain out of a molehill.
This is a bit of a satire,
A bit. I got very jealous yesterday when I heard I couldn't speak to you guys because of where you went and where you were going. So I'm gonna read the names of some songs now, and then ask what's up.
When you said where we were going, did you mean like to hell if we don't mend our ways?
No, that's always implied.
You do you not want to tell them before you have a whole little pitch before you even mention where it is?
Yeah, I got a whole little thing.
Okay, then do your little thing.
Okay, so I want to know in the chat is if anybody has heard of any of these songs. Okay, Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones.
How's that go? What's that?
Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Are those like on the same album?
I don't know.
All right.
I think they are, probably. I'll Take You There by the Staple Singers. Kodachrome by Paul Simon.
You think I'll Take You There? They were in the studio. They were probably singing about the Sweet Pepper's Deli that was next door, or the Exxon.
Catmandu by Bob Seger. Lots of Bob Seger. Night Moves, Main Street.
Ethan, Boz Skaggs, bro.
Boz Skaggs. Yep.
Boz Skaggs.
Gotta Serve Somebody by Bob Dylan.
Love, Look What You've Done to Me. Bob Dylan.
Dr. Hook.
The Exxon too.
Careless Whisper by George Michael.
Shut the front door.
And most importantly, Big Joe Williams in 1974, Don't Your Plums Look Mellow Hanging on Your Tree? Which is my personal favorite. What do all those have in common?
They were recorded at Fame at Muscle Shoals.
They were recorded at Muscle Shoals in Alabama, and I believe Adam Grace recorded at Muscle Shoals in Alabama yesterday.
Yeah, I mean technically Aaron did too.
Yes, I was behind the board, hanging out, acting like Jimmy Iovine, without the decisions or I didn't speak.
Yelling about your headphones?
People would turn to me and go, huh? And I would go, yeah.
So I would like to hear about that a little bit. Start at the beginning at your bar mitzvah and tell me about Muscle Shoals.
Well, the thing about it, Adam was in the pit. Adam was working, right?
Right.
So in the studio, I was in the booth listening to truly the best stereo I've ever heard in my life. By a long shot. I mean, really had to say, you guys have some pretty good speakers in this room. I mean, these are Walmart, are they?
What are these, Bose?
Yeah, like they were commercial grade. They were something else.
Yeah.
But I will say that it felt better than a tour.
Yeah.
Better than like a tour of a studio. We were sitting in.
So I was doing what's called a session, and I can't tell you who the artist was due to the paperwork, which you had to sign as well. I thought that was one of the more interesting points, is that they made you sign the non-disclosure.
I understand why, given who it ended up being, why they didn't tell us before we got there and why we had to sign the paper when we got there.
I've literally just been told that I can't ask you after, right? Because you can't say legally.
Halfway to Instagram, and they were like, "Woo!"
Ooh, right, right on. Now, was it just you alone, like in a room, or were there other musicians there?
No, it was just me. Just me alone in this giant studio, really big studio, and it's a nice studio. They haven't changed it since 1971, so it still looks to this day
Vintage.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a big room. It's got, if you can imagine, a nice big, I'd say probably 2,000 square foot room with booths. All these booths, maybe 4 or 5 booths around the walls that are the isolation booths for the singers or the guitar players, or where in my case they're going to put the Leslie, isolated in there with it, all the mics up and mics and everything. But I was in the main room recording with everybody up, including Aaron up in the sound booth.
Now, was the main artist you're not allowed to talk about there?
In the booth.
In the booth?
So I couldn't hear anything that was going on in the booth, but I had my spy in there, which was...
It's pretty amazing, the difference between what they say when the microphone's on and they're talking to the man in the field, the agent running in the field, the musician.
Yeah.
And what they actually are saying, most of the time. Like, they're very carefully controlling exactly what's said to the man with the drill bit at the bottom of the shaft. Right. It's all very positive.
Right.
Like, you never do anything. You never do anything badly.
When you're sitting out there, like, what you see is like 2 people going, and then they're like, "Hey, this is great! Oh, it sounds so good. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, you sound great. Let's do one more take." So you don't ever get like,
just do it again. Just do it again. Same thing you did last time, but just, every time better and better.
But you can definitely see that they're, talking. I don't want to hear what they're talking about, honestly.
Well, yeah. And how many times did you have to lay it down?
There is no counting. I've never heard any song so many times.
Okay. That song they played yesterday, you haven't heard any song that many times?
About 4 songs, right?
Yeah, it was 4 songs. Yeah, it was 4.
I would say a minimum of 40 times a piece.
Yeah, 40 times a piece, probably.
Nice.
And you'll do you'll do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 runs through it, and then they'll come in and start to give you their ideas of what they want in certain parts. And so, a lot of times they'll just punch you in, which he just didn't do that. Like,
you should tell it. We don't know who your friend Leslie is. We don't know the woman there named Leslie.
Well, Leslie was
in a room. Leslie was locked in a room.
Leslie's the cabinet, right?
Yeah, Leslie cabinet. I was playing a B3 organ, and
a Hammond B3 organ.
And B3 organ, and there was a Leslie's the spinning speaker.
Yes,
so they have that isolated in a room because it's so loud, and they can mic it 9 different ways to get it stereo awesome.
Yeah.
What does punch you in mean?
Punch you in. It means like instead of having to take the whole track over again, they find one little part or one little section where they want to do something, and they just start right there and record that 1 8-bar section.
They didn't do that. They had you play the whole song over again.
Over and over. Yeah.
Indefatigable. Like, there's nobody who is not producing a record in the universe that has as much interest in hearing a song played again. Ever.
Right.
Like, it's hard to imagine anyone being as excited as they were to hear Adam play it again like that.
I was looking at the dates, and Brown Sugar's recorded at the beginning of 1969, but not released till the end of 1971 or something like that. So you have all this excitement to hear it over and over and over again, and then they release it 2 years later, probably enough time for their excitement to build back up because they're probably bored with it by then. But this thing will probably be out in 2 weeks or something.
The band certainly would be bored with it by then.
Yeah, the only thing that what I see is different than what you said is that the never comes back.
What?
The excitement never,
Oh, it never comes back.
old thing that now must be dealt with.
Richie has a question because he wants to steer this back into magic, which I understand. Which is, what is your favorite magic related song?
Oh, mine is oh 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 oh, you got the magic touch that makes me. You know that one.
It's one thing if it's like, what's your favorite song with the word magic in it? Which I have to say, none of our favorite magic songs are based because of the word magic. In fact, that's one of the things that makes me least likely to react positively to a song in real time. Like when I hear magic, I wince in a song.
Yeah. But there might be like I've never actually heard a song where they're like, oh, look at your double lift. Oh, that half pass is so sweet. It's just
Yet.
Right. Try to understand. He's a side steel man.
I'm an Olivia Newton-John man myself. I'll take magic.
Here's a piece of information for Richie that'll help based on that very issue. Along the way, I dated a few girls, ladies, women, who were, let it be known that they were kind of into magic. That happens, It's an interesting thing. It happens. You meet ladies like, I really dig magic, and I really dig you. And if you find a woman, both of you have met the women I'm talking about, who are unduly in love with the song Xanadu, there are serious psychological things at work. If a woman loves the song Xanadu, you're you're having a special glimpse into the psyche of a human.
Xanadu, that soundtrack was written and produced by Jeff Lynne and all the dudes from ELO, who also did OOO.
That's one of those songs with the word magic in it.
Yeah. So that's a tenuous bridge there that I built, but I'm happy with it. So I just want to say before we move on from this that I love that story and I want to hear more about it. But this person who is in a special Leslie cabinet just for them, having the piano set up, and these big time producers and this artist we're not allowed to know about all want to hear him play the piano. That's the guy I call if a HTML doesn't work.
We don't talk about that.
Okay. Well, okay. I just want you guys to know that.
When you're at the old studio, Ethan, what you wonder is, what did Mick Jagger eat here?
Right.
How far did the team drive? Did Rock Scully and the people drive to get the shakes and the material for the greens and the beautiful vegetarian suppers and all the things that you have to have just to house a Rolling Stone for a day?
They didn't have kale back then. I mean, when Mick Jagger's like, I want my kale shake now.
There was J.J. Kale, but not during the same sessions.
Yeah.
So
where did he go get it?
That whatever it is, it's nowhere near there. I mean, what you think about when you think about Mick Jagger at the Fame Studio in Muscle Shoals is there's nothing there that would seem to allow a Rolling Stone to live its daily life when not working during that many-month period. Different if you're thinking about Dwayne Allman, who literally got into the music business because he was camped out in the parking lot. That's an interesting story,
What happened there? He was camped out and he just said, let me in. I can play the sweet guitar and I got peaches.
He literally pitched a tent in the parking lot and wouldn't leave until they brought him in and let him play guitar on a track or two.
And turned out, he was all right.
When did you get the call, Adam?
For the gig?
Yeah.
I got the call a week ago, and then I got the songs the night before at like 11 p.m.
Adam's reclusive as a musician because whenever you go out to a place where there's loud music happening, there's many people attempting to engage Adam in many, many artistic projects.
Yes.
He's choosy and he doesn't want to say no to people. So he's reclusive.
Right.
Because if someone gets him still long enough, they will ask him to be in an album.
Right.
So, be careful, right?
Yeah, very.
On account of all this Conjuror community we like to do with it.
Well, I've been to many concerts with you where you could have easily had us up somewhere else closer behind where the music was, but following your example and wanted to be in the back in the audience. So I've witnessed the reclusiveness. But yes, the Conjuror community, which we so love and talk about, which is why we're here.
I thought for Christmas about purchasing Adam some kind of Iron Man helmet so that he could go to the show and people will think he's Iron Man and they'll ask him for less things.
I wore a wig of one show. It was really great. I had this big flowing wig.
He wears a wig actually at every opportunity at shows for that purpose.
You wear a wig and sunglasses and nobody knows who you are, you know?
Can we do that at the next mastermind?
Never going to blow his He looks like Slash without his top hat.
Yeah.
Cigarette hanging out and everything. I once worked at a music store where we had a standee of Slash without a cigarette. So I cut a hole in the standee and put a cigarette in it. Ta-da. Oh, are you guys muted again?
Sorry.
I think they talked about.
I had a technical difficulty I had to deal
I
with.
understand. This is interesting. It is. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that red thing.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, we worked it out. What did you say, Ethan?
Nothing important. I was just going to ask if you were going to do a member mastermind where we dressed up in wigs.
Probably not.
Come on.
Look, we've got a couple panel members that were thinking about doing that for strictly personal reasons. But as you guys have been told before, out of our many faults, a fine head of hair, a lack of that is not one of them. So, we confused Sean for Steve the other night accidentally for a moment.
Did we?
From head shininess.
Oh.
I had a question. You said something about Iron Man. Let's say the panel is the Avengers, and I've done that picture before. And in the picture I've done before, Tom Frank is Iron Man. I think that's because his head fits so well with the cigar on the picture. But you mentioned Adam is Iron Man. Are you not Iron Man, Aaron? Because we obviously have Captain America and Iron Man here, if we're following through with the Avengers analogy.
That's a DC thing.
I'm Batman, I'm pretty sure.
If we're Avengers, we've got a whole different framework. At the end of the day, DC and Marvel, we spend an undue amount of time actually meditating on the
MCU.
On the MCU.
Yeah.
It's almost
For a couple,
weird.
I was never a comic book fan. I never read a single comic book in my life, even the one you gave me in my adulthood. You told me I needed to read. I didn't read it.
What was it, Watchmen?
I never read comic books. I never have. But I love movies based upon comic books. Love them. Absolutely love them.
So on the Avengers, in the Avengers, and we're talking about the CC panel, who is your analog?
No, we understand what you're saying, but it would be easier. It would be easy for us to meditate just a little bit on what we feel the unique qualities of each Avenger are.
Okay.
For example, Tony Stark. Like if you think about like Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
he's kind of like an industrialist that took a lot of kung fu.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Tony's kind of like, a rocket scientist. He's like literally the best scientist in the universe who happens to be an industrialist.
Okay.
So it's interesting because Tony Stark is legitimately a lot smarter than Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot smarter.
Like he whips up, things like who's Archie's girl? Veronica.
Yeah, Veronica,
He
yeah.
whips up Veronica, which is a Hulk cage that repowers different pieces of his Iron Man suit. He just says Veronica, and it appears. So Tony is, whatever Tony does in his spare time, seems to would take 1,000 MIT experts, a long time, and Tony whoops it up in between things. You know what I mean?
But Batman makes up for it in passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're squarely in the Marvel.
Okay, sorry.
Ethan and I grew up in a DC household.
We did.
Uncle, who's very much like the comic book expert in The Simpsons.
This
Raised
guy here, I talk like this.
We went for DC, but the whole time he said to us, you guys are really missing the boat. Because as a practical matter, by and large, with this whole Frank Miller, Alan Moore thing aside, which of course is totally aside, right? By and large, the thing about Marvel characters is they have names, they have lives. They literally have to integrate their super problems in with their real problems. And that is really a big thing. Whereas DC people, they have alter egos, but they're really just plot devices. Because primarily, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Every now and again, he's at a gala. Some evil dude shows up, and that's
very rarely.
But Peter Parker, he's got midterm problems, and the midterm problems are happening while the world is crashing, and he's got to work it all out.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that makes us love the MCU so much is that that is really clear in the MCU in such a beautiful way. You know what I mean? It's more, as silly as it sounds, it's more character driven. Don't get me wrong, it's not like a Helen Mirren movie, but it's character driven. So we like that.
It's no Tinker Tailor. But
Ethan,
who's the smiley?
It's also easier to see other people than you. Like Ethan really strikes me as a lot of a Bruce Banner type.
I'm the Incredible Sulk, that's for sure.
Very peaceful.
Yeah.
And intellectually minded, but don't make him angry.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
You wouldn't like him when he's angry.
Who cares?
I would say you identify a lot with Hawkeye. We're not in the Hawkeye. We don't know how he got the gig.
Yeah.
Like
he even says it. He's like, look, I'm here, you're here. I've got a bow and arrow. What am I doing in this movie?
He literally shouldn't be there, except he's there. He helps new heroes understand the work ethic of the Avengers. But then again, we were also thinking, not all Avengers are created equal. Once we get into this series, there's lots of Avengers that have to work on missions while other Avengers just start big nonprofits and hang out at TED Talks. And I don't think we need to. So in that sense, I guess I am a little bit like Tony Stark.
Can I be that one?
No, I mean in that way I'm Iron Man. Okay. I'm talking, I'm doing stuff. Adam is like literally running. Adam is making it happen, And I'm like, oh, let's have some charity. So yes, I'm Iron Man in that way.
So
you are. What makes you Thorish?
No, I said I wish I was Thor. I feel like maybe I'm Vision.
No, you're not Vision. You're Captain America.
Captain America! Yeah! Cap.
We were thinking about Captain America. He is a good dude. Solid.
That's probably Alex then.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is, yeah.
Alex is a bit like Thor, actually.
Yeah, he is.
He's overbearingly positive and spacious,
He's got the hammer. He can lay the hammer down.
And he is a bit like a Californian god angel.
And you have to be pure of heart to wield that. Oh wait, that's Captain America. Who is pure of heart? Because the only pure of heart can wield the hammer of Thor.
Well, you see, Thor was making plans for his next evolution. He was happy when Captain America could hold the hammer at that point.
Yeah.
He was ready for an axe. And
I knew it.
He's preparing to move into a different role as Odin's son and get back with Natalie and help them opening and hopefully close the portal again.
Right, because she's coming back as Lady Thor.
That's right. The next Thor will be a Lady Thor.
Yeah.
We're still holding 100% of the viewers.
Two.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's how many participants. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Adam is Captain America very clearly. Ethan is the Hulk. I think we decided that I'm, what am I, Black Widow? Okay.
And Steve is the Silver Surfer. He's not an Avenger.
The Silver Surfer.
It's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
I would say Steve is probably like Scarlet Witch.
Or Steve might be more like Nick Fury.
Adam is Nick Fury.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. I'm Nick Fury.
Adam is Nick Fury. I'm Captain America. And if only because of my bravado, I'm Iron Man.
That's right. And Steve is actually Thor.
And I do break out nanotech.
And I'm Ethanos.
Right?
I'm Ethanos.
No, we know who Thanos is. We won't talk about that.
It's a good gig.
What? Oh yeah, Hulk is a good gig.
Is Mullins sort of like Ant-Man? Because he's like,
Ant-Man.
he's funny and charming, but then he gets big.
Yeah. It's really hard. I wish we would have thought about this before deciding. Can we have a couple of days to sort of chart this out and get back to you on, who exactly is who?
It's possible that we're not Avengers, right?
Right.
This is the next Conjuror community's big initiative is figuring out who we are as the Avengers.
We might be the Phase 4.
Phase 4.
We're more like the Guardians of the Galaxy, frankly.
True.
I actually did have a point, and I feel like we got a little sidetracked. I did have a point about asking about the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because I like to see the panel as like an Avengers, and I kind of want to know how they were assembled, your Conjure community panel. Because I've been doing these AMAs, and I've spoken to you a little bit, and I've spoken to Adam a little bit. I've spoken to Alex, Steve, Sean, Rolando. I've spoken to all of them, and I've gotten their individual stories. But from your guys' point of view, putting together the team, and maybe even a little bit of a CC origin, if we have any new people out there that haven't heard it.
Go ahead. Tell us the tale. You never told us the tale.
Well, the CC origin story is one of steeped in great mystery. You know how these it really squeaks, doesn't it? It'll do it right, like when I'm about to say something, do it. Okay, so here we go. So the CC story, the CC story is one steeped in great mystery, but it is more like what's that? What happens in space when a planet explodes?
Supernova.
Yeah, supernova. It's more like a supernova. You don't. They're very rare, but it's a supernova. It wasn't intended to be anything other than what it became, except for we didn't know what it was going to become at the beginning. We decided to start a community. It was founded with the first 100 people who were all in the original Miracle Man course. And those are people like Michael Sproul, who are still around to this day. And so Conjuror Community was, really our attempt to put together something online that Aaron had been wanting to put together for a long time. He really wanted to build sort of a university for magicians.
A facility,
yeah. That's good. Like Stark Tower.
We were not Magic Club guys growing up, right? Because Magic Clubs most of the Magic Clubs that we found had an awful lot going on that wasn't interesting to us. So I had made this transition to spending a lot of time teaching online. It was around 2010, and I'd always been really into teaching magic. I mean, I'd always enjoyed it as much as performing. But we had realized over the years, friends of mine like Adam and Alex and Lee Asher, we really had our own little magic club. And BJ, there were no dues. It was when our gang would get together. right? We would often meet up at a magic convention and then have our own weekend of partying, which would very intermittently contact the magic convention. And so we had this vibe, this energy, this spirit of camaraderie and support. And, you know, we were supportive of each other. We were caring of each other. And we realized that within our gang, there was someone, whatever your question was, there was someone who knew the answer, right? Everyone had different complementary gifts. So in that way, there was a super team type energy to it. And what we felt was, when we looked at everything happening online with magic, what we felt was an awful lot of videos, but we didn't feel that thing no one was doing the thing that to us seemed obvious, which was that magic is so much better with friends. So much, you can't do it alone. You don't want to do it alone, right? A lot of it's solitary.
A lot, you know,
But then it shouldn't have to be.
Since Conjuror Community has popped up, sorry, this is a slight bit of a tangent, but since Conjuror Community has now going on year 6, I guess, the funny thing is that there's been a lot of people attempting to create online magic training sites, and you know they pop up here and there, they pop up everywhere, you're seeing them. But the thing is that the reason they never last, the reason they don't work, is because they are missing like the main element that makes what we do successful and great. You know, it's not just about watching magic videos. That's not what, when you're building you know, I feel like I'm giving away the big secret right now, but you know, if you're going to build like a magic site, an online magic thing, it's not just about sitting there watching magic videos. That's just not what it's about.
Everyone's been taught when they put together their site that, you know, people learn about how to put together a site, put together a brand, right? And everyone gets told, oh, you got to have a community. And so you're stuck with words and pictures. And what you get are pictures of videos and magicians, right? And words like community and forum and training. And those words are kind of going to be the same in a lot of ways, no matter what you do. It's very difficult to say, no, this one's different. They all say that too. So, and I've said this before, right? Conjure Community is not a website. It's a magic club that uses the internet as a clubhouse, which is a markedly different thing than having a magic store and you got a forum and you go, hey, join our community. You know, that's really like another word for having a way for people to leave comments for each other. With us, the entire process is geared around a whole different thing. We have an awful lot of training. We've developed an awful lot of training. We actually believe, because we're focused in having the smartest guys we know, you know, there's an awful lot of really great old-timey magicians that just won't have the internet, right? Or they won't have it on people's terms. They'll have it on their own terms, you know? Mm-hmm. But since we've got a whole team of people connected to a whole bunch of members and we're all interested in sharing and teaching and helping each other, I think, you know, we've ended up choosing really the best practical methods for the best tricks. And you can really find the exact stuff that has been culled through these thousands of methods that we've all been really working at real hard for 30 years apiece, essentially, you know? And so I think we end up with a training library, which is miles ahead, right, of any of the other stuff, which is often just, you know, whatever you could find an 18-year-old to record that he's working on, you know, during senior year of high school and stuff, and you get what you get. So we have all that stuff, but our entire focus is different, and I think our members can feel it, you know? So when you talk about the Avengers, I think one of the things that's so beautiful about how Conjure Community came together is that we really decided when we came together that it wasn't a cliquish thing. You know, when you buy a chance to have a workshop with some famous magician or whatever, you really feel like, wow, I'm paying a bunch of money and I get a chance to sit at the feet of this person while they give a teaching. And maybe I can ask a question, maybe not. May I ask a question? Maybe not. It's a whole, you know, it's a whole thing. But what we really don't look at it that way. we really are all about the collective. We're really all about, this is going to sound corny, but loving and supporting and caring for each other. And what you might call friends, or you might call family, depending on how you look at it. But it's the same thing. People you care about, you legitimately care about, seeing them succeed and grow. And there's not a sense of competition. We're not in competition to make anyone do anything. We're just trying to help each other achieve what we want to achieve. And for a lot of us, that's to enjoy magic, improve in magic, get more out of magic, and just get all of the good things that come when you're really just having a good time with your friends. And the thing that is so pleasing about Conjure community is that's the people who want to join it. Is the people who like Conjure community, who feel the vibe, can feel that vibration. I know that sounds a little woo, little California, but the people who really dig it are people who kind of feel exactly the way we do, right? If you don't feel the way we do, you probably end up thinking, I'd much rather watch short videos by teenagers on Illusionist. I'd feel so much better. Their facial hair, I want to emulate the facial hair I see on another website.
Right.
We'll go to that website, you know? And whereas I don't think anyone's really working with emulating our facial hair.
Definitely not.
Aren't my facial hairs mostly a function of not caring about shaving at all and have very sensitive skin.
And my facial hair is mostly made up of glued on pubic hair. So
Mine's perfect, but I don't do any magic.
you've got a good beard though.
And you know a lot about community and love and support.
Well, just to back up what you were saying, you know, many times, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Baxter. He said hi. Clark says hi. He says he loves the community. That's what we're talking about. But, you know, we've had many brainstorming sessions where, you know, I started off with something that was like a competition or something. And that's, don't do that. That usually is something that we move away from because we don't like to put members against members because that's not what the community is about. From my point of view.
You know, Ethan, I don't know if you've ever been to a magic convention before, but no, not really, right? Okay, I mean, the Conjure Community Summit is not a magic convention.
Right.
Really.
No, I haven't been to like Magic Live or I haven't been to anything like that.
But traditionally, we would grow up and we would see a magic competition. And to be fair, you see some people put together these beautiful, beautiful acts which stand the test of time and are really, really quite special. But by and large, art is a competition of sorts, but it's mostly a competition against yourself and your own internal barriers and the things that you have to overcome in order to grow. That's art, you know, as competition. The idea of putting together a magic competition to defeat another magician in magic based on these totally arbitrary things, right? Because the only way you could even have such a competition is by going, oh, technique, 10, 7, 7.9.
The way he held that bird's legs.
Do they do that at those conventions?
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how they give the...
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not fair to say that a competition can't be healthy. There's plenty of people, friends of ours, you know, when we think of Daryl, who we were talking about the other night, rest in peace. Daryl was a FISM award winner, beautiful, beautiful magic, beautiful, beautiful act. There's a lot of really beautiful magic acts that have been competition acts. But in terms of what you have to do to yourself to say, I'm going to go to the Magic Olympics in 3 years and I will take home
The gold at FISM.
the Infinity Stone and I will be the greatest. Whatever it takes to help a person move forward is good. But the very notion of watching a magic competition, I mean, there's so much to compete with inside your own mind just to learn how to communicate something true from yourself to an audience. To me, always felt kind of absurd.
Right.
Which is why I never actually did it. You know, I was like, I could not justify the energy.
And you could have. Aaron could have gone to FISM with the skills he's got. He's like the top card guy in the world. So he could have gone to FISM and he could have done
and gotten my silver medal and been disappointed in myself for life. Vernon used to tell a story about the songbird and it was something like a songbird and a crow were singing, or a beautiful songbird was singing, and a crow walked up and said, and this is what Vernon would say to a friend whenever a friend or student would lose a magic competition. Vernon was the professor, of course, and so his stories are like the Zen master, and he's always giving, parables to his students. So he says, what you got to remember, and pardon me, I'm not going to do a Vernon impression right now. He says, what you got to remember, it's like a songbird is singing, and the crow walks up to the songbird and says, let's have a singing competition, and our friend the pig can be the judge. And so then the songbird sings his beautiful song, and then the crow goes, rah, rah, whatever a crow does. And then the pig says, grand prize to the crow. And the songbird's crying, right? And then as the songbird is crying there, I don't know if it's a frog or whatever, but it's essentially Vernon in animal form, says, you have to remember, little songbird, the judge was a pig. Because what you got is a whole bunch of people who want nothing better than to sit at a magic competition and go, dance 10, looks 3. Which is a lot easier than going home and practicing.
The way he held his cards, it's not the way I would have done it. -2 points.
Oh, originality?
I've seen that before.
And of course, to actually know what originality may look like, originality is a much used term, which is quite less often seen and much overvalued.
Define it. Can you define originality in magic?
Right? Some people think it's only original if it's an original in effect. And an original effect that's truly an original effect happens quite a bit less often than magic dealers would have you think. Originality in method is almost impossible to spot because you can't see it if it happens right. You don't know it happened at all. So it's so subjective. It's so silly. So that's magic competitions. So, one of the things that's most important to us when we have member masterminds, when we have these member shows at the summit, a lot of this, and I really saw it very clearly at Sorcerer's Safari Magic Camp, where I used to go with Lee and Nathan and Jason and a lot of our crew, right? We used to work with kids, and then we said, man, we've been taught magic so backwards.
Yeah.
This is how it's supposed to work. It's camp. You're supposed to get together with a whole bunch of people, some less experienced, some more experienced. You're all supposed to get your juice by helping other people and enjoying the process, and they help you, and everybody shares what they know, and nobody is mean. And when you're giving a person feedback, it's because they want feedback, and it's about kindness, right? Because honestly, I was never the kind of artist that just being told I was dirt never really made me feel better or do better, right? Well, I don't know a lot of people that grow with that process. Some people do, but then you're dealing with like Cobra Kai, right? That's the Cobra Kai method. Old school Cobra Kai, I don't know about now.
Christopher Harrop says, and then when something original comes along, you get disqualified like Leonard Green.
It was a story so sad, I felt like I told it so many times before. The judges go, well, this was meant to be impromptu card magic, and clearly what was happening there was not, because they don't know, because, in a case like that, you have a genius performing, and you got a bunch of guys who said, I'll sit in judgment on a bunch of magicians. By and large, that's what you get. It's not that there's not your odd, wonderful magician in there doing his best to be a good judge, but you're just putting yourself up for some really strange forms of rejection that are even less valid than the stuff that you would have to deal with. God help you, if you're in professional show business, you're going to have to deal with enough indiscriminate rejection just to make a living.
Remember, the judge was a pig.
it's best if you learn how to love yourself and figure out how to find the people that love you, because otherwise you can, if you're going to be in show business, getting, begging for rejection from unnecessary quarters, you're just going to be asking for all kinds of hurt. And some people are like that, like they said in rhythmic song, right?
I used to, I fed rejection. Like when I lived in LA, rejection was like what fed me. I kept this book of no's. I still have it. So it's like every audition I went on that I didn't get, every letter I wrote that I got a no on, every script I sent in, they got returned and said, this is a piece of shite. Just so the no file, it's huge. So you look back through that and you're like, wow, it took hundreds and hundreds of attempts to just get anything or get anywhere. And so you had to learn, you learn to feed off of rejection. Like you go in saying, I hope I get rejected 6 times today.
Adam has that rare attitude, which is a blessing that he has cultivated, which is the ability to have a self-respect that doesn't get weakened by that process. He got stronger by it, right? And wouldn't you know, he succeeded. We were talking about our old friend Winston Churchill when we started this little show today.
Mm-hmm.
Winston Churchill used to say, and I'm paraphrasing here, that success was the ability in life to move from failure to failure with undiminished enthusiasm. So it's not a secret. You have to not mind. As G. Gordon Liddy would say, the key is not minding. I minded, Why would I?
And that's how we do it here. Winston Churchill to G. Gordon Liddy in the space of a sentence.
Don't forget Vernon. Vernon was in there.
Don't forget Vernon, the Pig and the Frog, Iron Man, The Incredible Sulk. And I don't know what Gwyneth Paltrow's name was when she was in her blue suit. It just goes to show she did sometimes wear the gifts Tony gave her.
And, your original question, though, to come back all the way back around, because you asked about how the panel was assembled, but basically, very carefully, right? Because it is made up of those same people that Aaron was talking about. Like, it's the people we want to hang out with. It's people who we know are going to be a positive influence. And you don't get on that panel unless you have already proven that you've got the right stuff to be able to be a real positive force and influence on magic, period.
And almost the positive force is the most important part of it.
Definitely. And that always comes with unique superpowers. Because here's the truth. If we take a look at our members and every human being, everybody's got unique superpowers. Whoever you are, you do have some things that you're pretty special and good at. It's quite often that we take a look at the things we're special and good at. We think, well, I lost the lottery here. The things that I'm special and good at, that must be meaningless, But very seldom is that actually so. So I would say, the people that are on the panel, there was really just a good vibe and a good connection. And they, you'd look, hey, Scarlet Witch. Well, here we are saving Sokovia, If you walk out of that door right now and start throwing thunderballs, you're an Avenger. Otherwise, we'll call your brother and get you out of here. But, and so
it's all your brother and get him out of here.
It's all very organic and it's all very magical. And incidentally, that counts you too, Ethan.
Oh, well, Ron Brown said something very nice to me. Thank you for saying that, Ron. I won't read it, but thank you, Ron.
Read it for me.
He said, Ethan, you do a different kind of magic that we need.
And we need it bad.
Yes.
You know who you are. You're like Phil and Hill all in one.
Who?
Coulson.
Phil Coulson.
Oh, okay. But I died. Let's bring you all together.
And Hill.
No, you don't die. You go on to have your own series.
So speaking of positive forces, do you want to show us one, Aaron, with those cards before we go?
Positive force.
We're not going to do any forces today. No, I will say that we are very, very close. We're very, very close. We are right now in an undisclosed location, your place.
Yeah.
We are actually putting the touches on the CC Club deck of cards, which is really, it's coming soon. So I don't know. I think maybe we'll show a Joker. Want to see a Joker?
Let me ask, before you show Joker, does anyone want to see a Joker from the CC deck? We'll just wait here for some answers.
All right.
Lily's decided to join us again.
It's pretty exciting. And the family would say it's that horrible cat.
Was it Mungo Jerry?
Or
Adam, say it. You've seen cats more than anybody.
Oh, the Jellicle cat?
what kind of
Uncle Teaser, dude.
Uncle Jerry or
I wasn't listening. Sorry.
John Lennon?
Okay. All right. So Richie wants to see it. So he's the one got in first. So let's see this Joker. Yes, Joker. Yes, here we go.
He's become such a collector of inside information.
He does. He's
Two.
Richie.
Richie.
He knows a lot of inside info.
Yeah, I
I've
can
noticed.
say he pokes around and he likes to have the inside dirt. I've noticed, in a short
Yeah.
period of time. You can spot it. It's like you're at Hogwarts and you see people first year. You sort of know.
Like, that guy's Hermione.
You know what Richie's got coming to him today?
Wow.
Whoa.
I love that sticker.
That's a cool sticker.
That sticker tastes good.
Ooh, I hope mine's here today.
All right, so we're going to do just a little bit of a sneak peek.
All right.
Because Richie wants it, So these are the Jokers. These have never been used on the Jokers before. These are specially licensed to us from a beautiful, really cool piece of advertising. We'll tell the story behind from the World Exposition later. So these Jokers are really, really cool. We think they're just awesome. And what we have here, the CC Club deck, has been specially licensed to us. And USPCC is not licensing any of the art anymore since they were purchased by Cardamundi. These are V2 racerbacks, which aside from their initial release at the very beginning of the last century, were only released for a few months essentially in like a whist deck, in the 90s during like a re-release that was happening for a couple months. But what's so beautiful about these cards, is they create that same important, we're all obsessed by cards, right? And there's so many beautiful new cards out. And so many of them are beautiful as long as you're not doing magic, right? And so many of the new cards, if you're using them for magic, you start finding out, oh goodness, it's like a chair you can't sit on. It's a beautiful chair. It's an artistic chair, but it doesn't support weight. So you try and show people magic with the cards and they can't tell when a card changes color and they don't know what's going on. And the cards are so odd and strange that it would have to be that they're weird cards. But what's nice about the V2 Racer is they are evocative of a bicycle. They're very clearly bicycles, right? But they're not. They've got their own unique look to them, their own unique feel to them. So you can really work with the deck of cards. And not to mention, my friend, these are premium B web press, traditionally cut playing cards, which anyone who wants to do sleight of hand, modern cards, you do a double lift, they break under your heel, right? It's a very, very sad thing.
That was the actual first peek.
That was the first peek.
That you guys saw the actual first peek that anyone has seen at all of this deck. Well, with the exception of a few people who were at the summit and saw the proofs, but
they are real.
They are.
And we are preparing some very, very special materials to go with them right now. There's going to be a series of announcements about the playing cards, but we're all very, very proud because I think CC Club having its very own private club deck that was really, for us, by us, with the help from our good friend Lee Asher, represents a major step forward in a lot of levels for what we're doing. So we can't wait to share all the exciting information with you. It's going to be a process. Ethan, is Lily the cat just entertaining you to no end?
The fact that we're getting the first look at this card and it's on my little show I like to do, and there's only 10 of us here that are watching. we'll watch later. The fact that we set up this chair for Lily, she didn't come in, then she came in, and then she slept all the way up top. And then right when you're showing the card, that's when she's putting on her full show. The whole thing, I loved it. It was beautiful. We got a great look at the card.
So much of magic, and this is kind of what we've been saying today.
Yeah.
So much of magic is about folks pretending to be something, you know, weird photos of weird dudes pretending to be their definition of what a cool dude may look like, and it's all weird. What's kind of so sweet about our little gang is that we are just having a good time with friends, and our cat can go wherever the heck she wants.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Some comments. Yes, share the Jokers. We want T-shirts, which we have T-shirts, by the way. They're not Grateful Dead T-shirts, but they're T-shirts. Christopher Harrop, wow. Richie, very cool. Harrop, I love them. Richie, nice depth. Clark, looking forward to them. Edmund, great. Ron, yes, T-shirts. Christopher Harrop, thanks for everything you guys do. Thanks for coming on today, guys.
Thanks for having us, man.
I love
Cool.
great cards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I say Pharaoh, they go.
Hey guys, next week we're not gonna do a lunchtime AMA just because it's 4th of July weekend and Hamilton's coming out, and I'm gonna be watching that for 24 hours straight, I think, on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, and but thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to the members. Thank you to you two. Have fun in Tupelo, finishing up the deck stuff. Chad, we love you too. And you know, that's it for us. You know, everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe. Wash your hands and don't touch your face. And we'll talk to you later.
To